What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush. Let's talk Jets. Hope everybody had an excellent holiday weekend. Some interesting news today in OTAs, and I'll cover a variety of topics. I just got done teaching, so I'm a little bit tired. So if I ramble, just bear with me, all right? So big news today with Jeremy Ruckert, who seems to be emerging in this offense, or actually just in general. Last year was a redshirt year for him where he had to get healthy. Then he had to learn the offense. They had to learn the speed of the NFL. When he got into the game, he didn't see much, and the offense wasn't on the field a lot. He's buried behind Conklin and Zuma. So this year he's got a lot to prove in an offense where he could see some opportunities. You know, he's 6'5", he's big build. And when you look at the offense, you know, we had a conversation last night where we were talking about how many playmakers do the Jets have, how many receivers do they have, can they deal with injuries? An emerging Ruckert's a really good thing, man. That can add a whole other dynamic to the team. And in terms of short-term and long-term, an emerging Ruckert this year could be good for next year if Conklin and Zuma are both gone with the way their contracts are structured. So definitely something to keep an eye on. I'm rooting for him. I think we all are. Long Island kid, Jet fan, a feel-good story. Hope he makes the most of it, man. And you know that Aaron Rodgers will, you know, the thing with Aaron Rodgers is he'll find, if you get open, he'll find ways to get you the ball. So definitely a great opportunity for Jeremy. The other big news is Breece Hall, man. And everybody loves Breece Hall, right? Like last year, he was like a superstar in the making, like taking over games, winning games, on the verge of being rookie of the year for, offensive rookie of the year. So now he's coming back, and it looks like he's ahead of schedule, man. He's moving, according to Sal, he's explosive. And the one thing, it's like everybody's worried about week one. And for me, I'm not worried about week one. I'm worried about the final stretch of the season. I'm worried about the playoff run. I'm worried about the run at the division. If for the first 3 or 4 weeks, if he's only, getting 10 carries, whatever, I'm not even worried about that. This is I want him for the long haul, man. So the fact that he's ahead of schedule, looking so good, is promising. The Jets also have other running backs, so it's not like he has to carry the load. They drafted Izzy. You got Michael Carter. You got Zonovan Knight. There's plenty of comfort there. If anything gets, I would still, for a while I was saying, the Jets may need, a Leonard Fournette, a short yardage back. But then you're wondering, would they use like a Nick Bawden, who, the fullback that they have? Would they actually incorporate a fullback this season? Or would they use a Jeremy Ruckert? Or would they use tight ends as a fullback? Or how are they going to do that? So I think the running back position is fine. But Breece Hall, it's super encouraging. Hope everything stays that way with him. But again, don't rush him back. To me, it's, again, not about week one. It's about week 15, 16, 17, and the playoffs. The other thing is, the one interesting note nobody's really talking about, where the offensive line, I know Dwayne Brown's not practicing right now, but they had McGovern was playing center, and Tippett was practicing at guard. Now, Salah has said, in training camp, it's going to be open battle at center. That's something to keep an eye on, man. I'm really fascinated to see what happens with McGovern and Tippmann and where he ends up. You kind of want, if it's close, if McGovern and Tippmann are close, you hope that Tippmann starts, because that's going to be your center for the next 4, 5, 6, 10 years, right? So you got to see how that plays out. Keep an eye on that. The other thing, too, was it was interesting when Zach Wilson had a great practice, oh my God, Wilson's learning from Rodgers, Wilson's learning from Hackett, Wilson's great. This is what it's all about. He has a bad practice today, and there's crickets. I'll continue to say, listen, if you want to worry about Zach Wilson 2 to 3 years from now, that's great. To me, if Zach is still ridiculously inconsistent, I would go out and get a Teddy Bridgewater or something else, because the last thing I want is, God forbid, Aaron Rodgers gets banged up and you have division on the line or playoffs on the line, and Zach's got to win you that game. No offense to your Zach Wilson fans out there. This season, you're all in this season, man. You're trying to make all these moves. I want a backup quarterback that I know can win me a game in a pinch. Bridgewater could do that. I mean, as of the video, I don't think he signed anywhere, but a guy like that. And the Jets have been kind of stubborn about this, but I hope it doesn't come to bite him in the ass. Another interesting comment. When they asked Sal about Dwayne Brown, he talked about his toughness, how he got the Selfless Warrior Award, and how he doesn't think anything should be handed to him. He's willing to earn it. To me, it was almost like a shot at Mekhi Becton, Like, maybe it's me looking at things, but I think that Becton's approach has irritated the Jets, and I think the locker room is probably all Dwayne Brown guys, where like, this guy gave his heart and soul last year in a year where he didn't have to. He had guaranteed money. He could have got an injury. He could have sat out. He didn't. So if it's Salah's all about the 5 best offensive linemen, Dwayne Brown is one of those guys, and he doesn't play right tackle. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know. But other news, the Jordan Whitehead restructured his contract, so now he saved the Jets $5 million in cap space. And the Jets seem to be in the space to make a splash move, Like, They went after Beckham. They went after Calais Campbell. They went after Fletcher Cox. They've been ready to make these moves, and it hasn't worked out for them. And now they're creating even more cap space. Now, the cap space for this year, to me, is not really about Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams is not really about this year. You can structure the contract however you want. I think him, it's about, if they're arguing about years, is it more about the Aaron Rodgers restructuring, how they want to handle that and make it comfortable for next year? But it's really interesting, man. And at the safety position, having Whitehead back this year is fine. I think for many, we thought he was going to be a cap casualty because he got that big money. He didn't really pan out last year. But maybe now where this contract's restructured, he's motivated to be playing. He's probably playing for a contract, right? But I would still look to add another safety to the group. I know the guy from the Titans, I don't think he's been released yet. That's a guy to look at. There's other players out there, but just, are you comfortable with Whitehead, Clark, and Tony Adams? It looks like Clark's going to be like a hybrid linebacker. I kind of want more experience at safety and a guy that can run a little bit, right? The other thing, too, is everybody's asking me my thoughts on the Giant beat writer that talked about Daniel Jones being better than Aaron Rodgers and all these different stats. To be honest with you, I was going to do a video, and I'm like, why even go into it? And it's just ridiculous. The only stat that really matters to me is wins and losses. Daniel Jones could throw for 6,000 yards. If the Giants win 7 games, does it really matter? Like, for me, Aaron Rodgers is coming to the Jets to win football games, win the division, win the Super Bowl. If that means he throws for 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, manages an offense that features great running backs and a great defense, and they win that way, so be it, man. Like, to me, I'm not worried about his stats. I'm worried about winning. I think Aaron Rodgers will do that. Do I think Daniel Jones is better than Aaron Rodgers? I mean, he had a great playoff game, but, other than that, I think he's a great running quarterback. I just think we're kind of discounting Rodgers a little bit because he had a down year last year because of his thumb. I still think he's an all-time great. And it's so funny because there was a point last year where Giant fans didn't even want Daniel Jones anymore. They wanted to move on from him. So it's interesting to see how these articles are coming out. I think when in doubt at this time of the offseason, it's shit on the Jets or insult Aaron Rodgers to get all the clicks and all the reactions and see what you can get out of it. And I'm just not even thinking about it. It was so weird last night. I'm really rambling, right? It was so weird last night because there's actually Jet fans now that are kind of nervous. Like, we don't have this, we don't have that, maybe we need this. And it's like, there's no team that's perfect. If you're a Jet fan right now, I'm smiling every day. I'm wearing Jet gear every day. I cannot wait for the season to start. I'm not worried about anything, man, because I know on paper right now, this team is poised to make a legitimate run. They should be amongst the best teams in football, top 10 teams in football, and let the cards fall they may, but I'm not going to get nervous in June. I'm not. I just can't. I'm not worried about Aaron Rodgers' calf. I'm not worried about the rain. I'm not worried about the wind, the snow, the new turf. I'm not worried about nothing. Joe Douglas will tinker with the roster. I still think Quan Alexander gets done, as long as he wasn't signed before this video was made. I think all these things are going to happen, man. We just have some patience, enjoy it, and realize that this team, for the first time in a really long time, is going to be good. And we can enjoy it, and we can embrace it. So that's it. Hope everybody's well. I'll talk to you later.